Hi, welcome to today's series where we're going to be taking a look at some classic stretches for you to be doing at home. So most people are aware of like a glute stretch, but then they get a little bit lost with other things. So we're just going to go from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top, and we'll just throw in a few stretches and see how much you enjoy them. So we're going to begin on our toes stretching. So taking a kneeling shape and then flexing your toes underneath. You will start with hands under the shoulders. And you're just going to stretch yourself down towards your feet, and that's going to open up the under part of your foot, and then bounce yourself forward towards your hands again. And then again sitting towards the feet, and then stepping yourself forward. So we're going to do that about 2 more times, just getting a little bit of movement through these toe joints, which are so important for how we walk. So if you're not someone who enjoys spending time barefoot, I encourage you to do that because it's very powerful what these feet can do for us. Now, if you're a little bit easy doing that, then our challenge is to sit towards the feet. So some of the limiting factors for you to be able to do this is 1, the stretch that happens down the base of the foot. 2 is your knee positioning. So if you're feeling exceptionally tight in the front of the knee, then you've got to go back to the version before. So we're just going to hang out here for a moment. This might be enough for you. You want to challenge yourself, lace your fingers and push the arms up towards the ceiling. You're just going to take 3 breaths in this place. And as you're doing your breathing, make sure your shoulders are settled down if your arms are above you. And really tapping into where you feel the stretch, because the longer we're here, the more you're going to feel it through the arches of the feet and through the toe joints. And then 1 more breath in and out. And then we can rest our hands back towards the floor. And you're just going to flick those feet over and give them a nice tap out onto the floor surface. So from here, we're going to move your right leg back and bring your left foot forward. So we're going to go into a lunging place. Now, if you need to build yourself up a little bit more, grab a roll, grab a set of blocks or something just to help you get lower towards the floor surface. This knee is going to go beyond your toes if possible. So really getting into a nice deep stretch like that is going to open up the under thigh muscle quite a lot. And then we're just going to come back and pull the toes away, getting the base of your thigh muscle getting a good stretch. And then we go forward and backward. We'll do that about 4 times. So just going into the stretch to the front and then pulling to the back. So my preference is to do some moving stretches because you can never be in the same position twice, which means each time you come into it, there's a new exploration. There's a new feeling that's going to happen. On the next one, we're going to stay in the forward position, and then can you bring yourself upright? So be careful that you don't squeeze in your lower back and pinch that area, but find yourself where you feel very strong and secure. I have the sense that I'm pulling my heel back towards my other foot if it was lying behind me. Send your arm up to the ceiling and then side bend and reach over. And then coming back through the center. And then we'll do that again. We're going to take a side bend over. So I've got support from my front leg. My arm is resting on that leg. Now I'm going to add in a twist. So as I go over to the side, pause there, and then very gently starting to look up toward the ceiling, underneath the arm line, and then back to the side and returning up. We'll do that 1 more time. So over sideways, and then twist the ribs to look upward, and then bringing it down and releasing. So we're going to go ahead and switch legs. So if you can do that with no hands touching the ground, that's great because you're working on your balance as well. So again, having your thigh just a little bit behind you, hands to the floor as we go into the first preparation movement. So where are you at? Everyone's different. Doesn't matter if your knee is super far or if it's still back over the ankle. You're trying to expose the musculature down the front of your thigh. And then rock back so your heel is on the ground, but your toes are towards you. Now, it's impossible to be completely straight here, so there'll be a little bit of a lean off, but as long as you're not collapsing in your position. Let's go forward and back. So if you can keep your hands in one position, great. If you need to keep walking the hands forward and backward, great. Just do whatever is working best for you. So on the next one, we're going to stay in our lunged position to the front, and then can we bring ourselves upright? So again, holding that stretch, Remember to be mindful of knees. If you need extra padding or support, go ahead and grab it. Placing your right arm down onto your right thigh, and then we're going over to the right side, and then bringing yourself back up again. So as I said, with moving stretches, you're going to find these different little places all the time that open up a new sensation for you, give you some more freedom of movement, or really tell you where you need to be focusing on. So on the next one, we're going to go to the side, we're going to hold that shape, and then pausing there, you're going to rotate the ribs looking up towards the ceiling. Watch that shoulder blade hasn't crept up to your ear, and then derotate and release. And we'll do that one more time, side, and then twist, easy motion. It's a bit of balance challenge as well. And then back to side, and then coming through. Very nice. From here, we're going to take your toes on the other side again forward. We're going to put hands to the ground, and you're going to tuck those back toes behind you. From here, we're going to raise your knee away from the ground, and then we're going to stretch the leg out. So you've got your back foot, maybe heel is lifted, and now stretching through the front leg. And then again, dropping down. Similar to the last move, but adding a different sensation. 2 and forward, and then one more time, stretch it out. Hold that position. If you can, put your hands flat on the floor and send both feet towards the ground. So maybe you can get your heels down, maybe you can't. Maybe you need to bring your hands further forward or closer in towards you. If no matter where you are, we're going to rise onto the toes nice and lifted, and then heels are going to sink down, and then repeating that up onto the balls of the feet and down. So now you'll understand that first exercise we did with our foot position comes into play. From here, we're going to bring the other foot forward. So from there, lower yourself down, make sure you're nice and settled. And then from this shape, we're going to go up onto lifting that knee. And then we're going to straighten the front leg and bend the front leg. And again, straighten it and bend it. One more time as we straighten that leg all the way out. Now hold yourself in a plank position here as you move your leg back behind you so that you are in a full position. Have your 2 feet nice and narrow to each other, and you're going to twist everything over. So feet looking one way and your shoulders looking an opposite way, and then back to center and flip the feet in the opposite direction. So we're starting to introduce some movement around your hips and twisting. Now it's not a classic stretch as such, but movement is stretching, believe it or not. So again, one more time each way. I seem to have got a little sweat up through this exercise. And then from there, back to center, drop down to your knees. Now, these next moves, everybody is different. So please just take it to what works best for you. We're going to go into a cross-legged stance. I can't have you on my lap now. So we're going to have one leg forward and one leg back. If you can't get your legs like that and you have to be tucked like that, it still works. So you've got to choose, like I say, what works for you. We're going to bring our hands down towards the floor. Let's go onto the forearms. And in this position, the leg that is in front is the stretch that's going to be happening at the back of you most. So you could collapse, but let's see if you can really feel like you're going to pull your chest forward and create a nice opening through the front of the chest line, but not cranking your neck back. And then if you feel comfortable with that and you want to go deeper, then spread the elbows and drop your head. So your aim here is that your pelvis is still trying to stay anchored onto the floor. And then we're going to bring you all the way up from there. Same leg that's in front, we're just going to do it slightly differently. Let's cross one knee over the other. Now again, your hip structure might be different to mine, so respect what's there. So in this position, as best as you can, we're going to bring the feet out so that they're almost making a straightish line toward the front. That's going to get you more at the front aspect of your hip, not so much at the back line. And then can you just lean your body weight towards your front thigh and then bringing yourself up. So a nice hinging motion as we go towards the leg and away. And then we're going to do that one more time, down and up. From here, let's switch our leg position. So crossing one leg in front and one leg underneath. I like to have mine flat, you do you. And then again, coming over, we'll travel down onto our forearm position. So with this one, again, that sense of lengthening through your spine, crown of the head one way, tail the other way. This is such a great stretch. You really feel it anchoring the sit bone toward the floor. Then again, if you want, down you go, lower. So when you go lower, you're also being mindful that you're not compromising the integrity of your stretch. You don't want to be breathless. And then bringing yourself all the way up from there. From here, we're going to cross that leg even deeper over the opposite knee. Now, if you can't get your legs to come forward, just keep them in this little shape. Doesn't really matter. The point is you're just trying something different with your body because this is not the normal stretch you've done. Also notice if you're wanting to lean over to the side. If you are, don't prop up the side that's away from the ground. Sit up on something like a cushion or a towel on the other side. That's going to make you more balanced. And then again, coming forward. We went onto the front of the thigh and coming back. Put your hands wherever feels most comfortable as we hinge to the front, hinge to the back. And then one more time, leaning in and withdrawing back. All right, so from here, we're going to go into a little bit of an arm series. So find a comfortable seat for you, whether that's the cross-legged shape or sitting on a chair is also quite fine. We're going to reach our right arm forward. Are we? Yeah, left arm forward, sorry. And hook your right elbow underneath the left, and then the left arm is going actually out to the side. So that was a little complicated to say, but just get the microphone out of the way. So in this position, your left shoulder, or my left shoulder, should be pulled down and away from my ear, and I've got really good energy through my hands on both sides, so I'm not limp in the movement. I really want to feel like I'm using my body's energy to stretch. So that gives you a nice stretch across the top of the shoulder line, back of the head area, and then we take that arm up to the ceiling, elbow to the sky, just holding on. Just getting a little opening through the back of the tricep, so the back of the upper arm area. And then, of course, you can take your other hand around and try and clasp to find the fingers, but if you can't find them, just keep your hand at the top. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of stuff going on through the shoulder complex, so just give yourself a little bit of space and freedom. And then resting out of that. Still staying this side, you're going to rest your left hand down, take your right hand over to your ear, and then just do a little gentle side stretch. So ear down to shoulder. And again, the feeling of that shoulder moving away from your ear is going to produce more stretch through the top of the headline. And then turning your head down on an angle, gentle pull of your head down towards the floor. So we've got these three muscles on the side of our neck here that are attaching to the ribs at the front and the base of the skull behind us. They're really important muscles and they can get very, very tight. So just being gentle again with those moves. All right, let's repeat on the other side. So arm crosses through, left elbow hooks into right. And then as soon as you're here, just watch that shoulder. Make it go down and away, and that's where you're going to get the best stretch. And again, my microphone is probably crackling, so we want to move that out of the way. Oh, and then holding that. I love the stretch around the back of my shoulder blade coming forward towards the front of my arm. And then from there, we're going to aim the elbow towards the ceiling and stretch that upper arm back. So when your arm is up to the ceiling, you'll feel there's a natural lift of your upper body, and that's fantastic. And then if you want to grab your hands behind or grab your t-shirt or just leave that version out is also fine. And you'll be surprised at how quickly these stretches start to feel good, but also quite intense because maybe you haven't stretched out like this on your normal day today. Take your left hand down to the right ear and then side bend away from the right shoulder. So without overly pushing the right shoulder down, just feel like there was a weight on the shoulder that was making it go down a little bit more. And then doing a slight head turn, looking underneath. Again, a gentle tractioning of your head toward the floor is going to produce that stretch on those three scalene muscles. And then undoing all of that. All right, we're going to do one more thing for our upper back and then we are done. So I'm going to spin around just so you can see the motion. So from here, you're going to lace your hands, stretch them all the way back so your chest puffs forward, and then you're going to relax through. So if you're doing this with me, we're going to come up onto knees if that's good. If it's not good, then stay where you were. So lacing the fingers, push the arms away from you. There's a corresponding push of your hips forward, and then relaxing through. You can, of course, do this in standing as well if you prefer. And again, reach and stretch and return. And then we'll do that one more time. Lengthen out long and resting from there. Give your wrists a nice bit of a flick. I always say the last, but I don't mean it. Place your fingers down so that the palms are facing away from you and walk yourself back a little bit. From here, tuck your toes under and stretch away from your wrist line and then come forward again. This is pretty intense, so don't feel like you're going to snap your wrist, please, but do feel the lovely stretch that you get through the forearm position. And now it really is the end of our time together. So thank you for joining me for this little round of stretches. I hope that you find some benefit in them. I hope there were some that you've never done before. And if you would like to, leave me a comment in the notes and tell me what was your favorite thing. Catch you next time.